Well, I figured I would make a video on the knives I've got on hand. Production's actually been kind of slow lately, especially over the summer and somewhat into the fall, but I'm starting to pick things up now. I've got a lot of blades made actually, and I'm starting to get some knives done out of them. This one I've actually had around for a while, haven't gotten around to showing it off. So one of my last custom pieces that I made was a handmade version of a PAL Mark I combat knife. And when I made that, I kind of like that, handmade version of a World War II era combat knife idea. So at the same time, I had made another blade that was my hand-forged version of this knife, which is a Cattaraugus 225Q knife, which has kind of a cult following. A lot of various stories and legends about the origins and mystical properties of this knife. Supposedly made of special unobtainium carbon steel or something, which production had to end because they ran out of it, which a lot of people say is not a true story, but interesting knife anyways. So I'd made a blade patterned after that one somewhat, and I finally finished that a couple of weeks ago, and that's what that turned out to be, which I think came out pretty good. It's a hefty knife with all that brass on there and a thick blade, but definitely tough. So there's that one, and you can see the original one next to it. All of those knives, by the standards of today, had surprisingly thin blades. The K-bar, and these and other ones about 1/8 of an inch thick, which nowadays is considered pretty thin. And people think it's going to fall apart if you baton it or something. Not full tang either. Oh my God! But they made them like that back then. But this one that I made is a 1/4 inch thick. So definitely hefty. So got that one. The sheath I also quite like. I don't end up doing very many of this design of sheaths just because of the kind of knives I typically make. Don't often get the chance to make one of this style, but it came out pretty good, I think. And I also have a pair of Yakuts hot off the press. I just finished oiling the sheaths and sharpening these a few minutes ago. The sheaths are still pretty snug. So I've got a couple of those. Pretty much the same thing. This one is just slightly longer, and got some different colored spacers on there, but got those ones around also. And up next, I'm actually working on a pair of custom ordered Yakut knives, and I got a bunch of Puko type blades after that I'm thinking about doing kind of a medieval peasant knife sort of theme with them, very simple wooden handles. But everybody likes these Yakuts. The guy that has ordered the custom-made pair of these was actually my very first customer for them. He bought the first one that I ever made, and took it on an elk hunt and said that it was like a scalpel on elk, and then since then has bought, I don't know how many more of these, probably about 10 of them. I don't know what he does with all of them, but I'm glad he keeps buying them. But they are definitely an effective hunting knife. type of sheath for these, which might look a bit odd if you notice that the usually this side of the sheath is the pretty side, and but with these it's the opposite, because they're meant to hang on your left side, kind of butt forward, so you can hold on to the sheath when you pull a knife out. Hold the sheath with your left hand. So that's what I've got around right now. I'm asking $165 shipped for the Quartermaster knife, we'll call it, and $150 each for the Yakuts. If you're interested, send me an email at knifemaker84@gmail.com. And that's about it. I'll see you with more knives, hopefully pretty soon.